How's it going, boys? Johnny Superbman here, and it's time for another NHL 14 improvements video. And this time, I want to cover EASHL line changes. An idea that I want to see put into future NHL games is to have line changes during EASHL. Now, these changes, they're not meant for Versus or Hockey Ultimate Team. This is only meant for EASHL. So, let's get started. I want you guys to imagine the best defensive defenseman that you can currently playing in the NHL. Now imagine if this defenseman did not ever have to go for a line change. He got to play a full 60 minutes and he never got tired. Well, it would be really hard for the opposing team to create offense other than just dump and chase and low shots on the net. You're never going to see breakaways. You're never going to see 2-on-1s. The only reason that you see 2-on-1s and breakaways is because of line changes, is because of these defensemen getting tired and having to go for a change. Do you remember this year, Gustav Nyquist blowing by Zdeno Chara against the Boston Bruins? That normally wouldn't happen to Chara, but it was because it was a bad change, and Chara was flat-footed. Nyquist goes flying around him, creates a nice-looking goal off the rush. That's what I want to see in EASHL, because in EASHL, the same thing happens, where if you have a really good defenseman or a really good defensive team, and they never have to go for a line change, it can be really hard to create rush offense, and that's what I want to open up. So here's a very basic example of how a line change can open up a game. We got the New Jersey Devils coming down on a 2-on-1. It's broken up by the defenseman. Now, the Devils defenseman on that 2-on-1 think, okay, the puck's in deep, we'll go for this change. Now imagine EASHL, the defensemen who are really good, they're thinking the puck is deep, we can go for the change. But the opposing team, with a nice stretch pass, gets it up to a winger who's nice and fast. This time it's Taylor Hall. They're still changing, and with speed to the outside, it can give you that rush opportunity. So before I get into how the actual line change works, let me introduce to you guys the energy bar, or the stamina meter. Now every individual EASHL player has one of these, and it's affected by 5 different actions. Skating, which always diminishes your energy bar or stamina nice and slowly. If you start to hustle, it will diminish your energy a lot faster than just skating around. If you throw body checks, it will diminish your energy slightly. If you get hit, it will diminish your energy a lot more than throwing a body check. And if you just glide around on the ice very slowly, your energy will start to come back. Okay, so there's the energy bar, and there's the 5 different actions that affects your on-ice stamina. So here's how the energy bar will affect your player while playing the game. We'll use my player as an example. Say you're at 100% energy. Your player is crisp, he's fresh. Well, that means that all your stats that you put into your player are exactly how you put them for your offensive category, your defensive category, and your athleticism category. But if you're down to the green zone, then every single one of your stats in all 3 categories are down by 1. If you're in the yellow zone, same thing. All your stats are down by 2. And if you're in the red zone, then all of your stats are down by 3. That's it. Every single one of your stats are affected the same way. The perfect zone, the green zone, the yellow zone, and the red zone. Now, I know I've confused a few of you guys, but don't worry, I'm going to bring it all around for you right now. The reason I want the energy bar in the game is because I want players to be able to go for a quick change to make their player better, instead of just jacking up your endurance to 95 overall and just saying, well, that's my job done now. Now, energy is a game within a game. You have control of the actions that your player takes, and every action has a consequence, right? It will make you a little bit more tired if you throw that big body check. It will make you a little bit more tired if you hustle all the way down the ice, right? But if you're aware of this, you can stay fresh, and you might be able to take advantage of a non-fresh defensive core. And how the line changes would work, very simple steps, right? First, everyone has a duplicate player on the bench. So whatever player you bring into the game, there's a duplicate on the bench waiting for you. So whenever you go for the change, the player that jumps over is the exact same player that you changed with. It's just the act of skating to the bench and doing the change that will open up the gameplay. All right, but it's the exact same player that's coming over the bench. And you can change at any time by pressing B or circle. It depends on Xbox or PlayStation. All right, and then skate to the bench. But it's not a team change. change. It's an individual change. So you and everyone else has control over their own players, right? So I can't force somebody else to change. I can only control my own player. Every time you change your player, the new player is at 100%. It doesn't matter if you try to glitch the system by changing and then changing again. Every time that duplicate comes over the bench, that player that went from the bench to the ice is at 100%. It doesn't matter how long he was sitting on the bench for. Again, it's just the act of getting to the bench and making the change, right? So the fresh legs from the bench to the ice is always at 100%. Every face-off in the game, also, the computer will auto-change for you. So every time a goal is scored, the next face-off, everyone on the ice will be at full health. Anytime an offside happens, the next face-off, everyone will be at full health. So anytime a face-off is happening, the game will automatically make the change for everyone, because that would happen in real life. You'd get the fresh skaters out there, right? Unless there's an icing. If an icing happens, whatever energy level that your team was at, individually, it will stay like that for the face-off, while the team that didn't ice the puck will be back at 100%. You see? Next, you don't have to change if you don't want to. -3 for the stats is as far as it goes. So say I'm 90 overall, just for argument's sake. Say I'm 90 overall with 90 in every single category. Well, if I'm in the red zone, then I'm 87 overall. I'm in 87 in every single category. I can still play the game. It's not going to get any worse than -3, right? But say you're going up against somebody else who's just as good as you, and they're 90 overall, you're 90 overall. They're just as good as you, but now you're tired. So you're 87 overall, and they're 90 overall. That -3 might be enough for that player to get that little advantage to beat you and get a goal, or to play better defense and stop you from getting a goal, right? So it's not going to kill you if you stay out there forever. The lowest that you can go is -3 in every category, but that's why the energy bar works, is because you go for the quick change, right? If you're in the red bar, go for the quick change. If you're in the yellow bar, then you can glide a little bit. You don't have to go for the change. It's a game within itself. And last but not least, the computer players never get tired and don't change. Just because that you're just asking for trouble, you're going to be blaming the computers. What a stupid time that was to change. So the computer players, they are not affected by this. They stay out there like they would right now. Alright boys, so there you go. There's my idea for the EASHL line changes. Obviously some positives and some negatives. Positives, the way I see it, energy conservation is now a skill, and I like to have more control over my players if it works, and I think this would work. It opens up more rush chances against teams that are, against players that are really good defensively, clog up that neutral zone. Now when they have to skate off, especially in the second period with the long change, it would open up some more rush opportunities. It's more realistic, and there's that argument. I'm going to use it for a positive this time. More realistic line changes are a huge part of hockey. All right, it's a team game. It's not an individual game. It's way too tiring to be an individual game. So line changes would definitely make it more realistic, and good trap teams would have to open up. It's not just about defensemen who are really good back there. Have you ever played teams where they got one man forechecking, or maybe not even one forechecker, and they just trap up the neutral zone? Well, teams like this might have to go for a line change, right? Their far winger might have to change, opening up that far side. So it just adds more offense to the game, I believe. Some negatives, too complicated to follow. Definitely a lot of people, and I actually agree with this. Say I'm going for a line change, but the puck is in the offensive zone, and the camera's on the puck, and I don't know where my guy is, and I switch back to the camera, then I switch back to the puck, and I don't know where it is, so it can be a little too complicated to follow. I can understand that. Getting tired might frustrate people. For those of you who like to have 95 endurance and just love to run around and not worry about things, I can see how it might frustrate you, especially people who love to throw the body checks. But again, I'm going to throw the realistic argument for somebody who's ever thrown a body check in hockey. If you do it multiple times in one shift, you're going to be dead freaking tired. You can't throw body checks like crazy. It does tire you. All right, so all these actions would tire you, but it would definitely frustrate the mainstream player who just wants to have fun. I could understand that, and it's just, bottom line, too much of a change. We've had EASHL now since NHL 09. It's my favorite online game mode, right? And I always say this: if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'm on board for that. But maybe it's just a change for 6v6 EASHL. Maybe it's just a change for an option for EASHL line changes, something like that. I just think that it would open up the rush offense, and it would look more like a hockey game with line changes in EASHL. So that's the way I see it. I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say, all right? And give me some good ideas, because maybe I missed something. So there you go. I'll see you guys in the next video.